Daniels, he's going to keep. He's going to walk into the end zone. Here comes one to the cup. Left-hand layup, good.
Kansas is the 2023 WNIT champions.
This is the Jayhawker Podcast, presented by the University of Kansas Health System.
Welcome in to the Jayhawker Podcast. I am Greg Gurley along with Wayne Simeon. We're so excited to welcome a special guest, Rob Thomson, manager of the National League Pennant winning Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously in the World Series last year, a Kansas guy, played baseball here in the early 80s. He's back for a big event tonight that's sold out with Coach Fitz and our whole new regime. So welcome back to Lawrence, Kansas.
Well, thanks for having me. I mean, this is such a great place, and I've never been in this part of Allen Fieldhouse, so this is really something, really humbling to be in here, you know?
Well, and you've been around some of the most iconic New York Yankees, 28 years.
Yep.
Very similar to Allen Fieldhouse, just a Yankee Stadium is it. And then give me a little old Yankee Stadium to new Yankee Stadium. How did they do?
I love them both. I mean, two really fantastic buildings. But the old stadium had so much tradition and so much history to it. And it was built a little bit differently. Like it was a little bit steeper, and the fans were right on top.
Yeah.
And, you coach third base there, and you can feel the ground shake. It was a great building, and the new building's fantastic too. It's quite a facility.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here, Coach. When I got a chance to meet you, you were sitting next to Coach Dan Fitzgerald watching men's basketball practice, and I made light of, hey, there are two hockey guys pretending to be baseball players.
Yep.
Hail from Ontario, Canada.
Yep.
Coach Fitz is from Minnesota, big-time hockey country. What drew you to baseball?
I think just that not that I was a great player, but I was a better baseball player than I was a hockey player, and both my brothers played baseball and both very successful. My oldest brother signed with the Montreal Expos. That's how old he is. And my youngest brother played junior college at the same junior college I went to before I came to Kansas. So baseball was in our blood. I just was a little bit better at it, and got a scholarship at a junior college, came here to Kansas where I had some great coaching and great people to be around, and I just got a lot better and had the opportunity to sign a professional contract, and that's really where it all started.
Let's go back to your junior college days and how you ended up in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah, so I went to St. Clair Community College in Port Huron, Michigan, which is right across the border from where I grew up. And I played for a guy by the name of Dick Roach, who's one of the best college baseball coaches ever. And to this day, we stay in touch, and he's a mentor. He's retired now. He's actually the guy that signed Derek Jeter as a New York Yankee. But I played there 1 year, and I say I played, but I didn't really play. I sat on the bench. I was like the third-string catcher. But Dick would make me stand next to him during the games and teach me about calling a game and all kinds of different strategic things. And I learned so much, even though I didn't play. After that year, they dropped the program. There's a tax cut in that county, and they dropped the baseball program. They dropped the women's softball program, and I didn't have a place to go. So I went and played summer baseball up in Canada, and I ended up playing with two guys that played at Kansas, Dennis Copeland and Bill Yelton. They called Marty Patton back here at Kansas, and they needed a catcher, and he offered me a scholarship, and I was here for 3 years, and I'm
Did
so
you even
happy.
visit? Did you even visit,
No,
or you got the call?
never
and
visited.
Sight unseen.
Sight
I'm in.
unseen. I'm in.
Was it because what gave you the courage to do that? Was it the opportunity? Was it the reputation of Kansas? Was it the relationship that you had with those guys that kind of drew you there?
Yeah, I think it was the relationship more than anything, because they just spoke so highly of the school and the Big Eight at that time and all the teams that were in. I was just so excited to come, just the way they were talking about the school and all the people here. And so I was like, yeah, I'm in. And so as soon as Coach Patton offered me a scholarship, I agreed, and we're gone.
So your time at Kansas, 83 to 86-ish, a year with, if we make it about basketball, talk about some of your memories before we get to your baseball career about being in Allen Fieldhouse. We were just out there with Coach Self during practice and kind of talk about your experiences here and then, your kind of bird's eye view of Kansas basketball and what you see out of Bill Self and how it relates to what you do at the major league level.
I have always been, even when I was playing, I was interested in practices and how they were run and the organization of practices and things like that. I can't tell you how many hours I sat up there in those stands and watched Ted Owens run a practice and Larry Brown watch practice. And I'd just sit there and watch all these drills and how these guys were moving around and how disciplined they were in their work. And it really, I probably innately knew that I was going to coach it someday, but I didn't know it, and it helped me so much.
That's awesome. And so your baseball career, talk about some of the teams you were on and some of the relationships you made. I'm friends with a lot of guys that I've heard about you forever, just met today, but they talk so highly of you and how, the John Heaney's and Danny Christie's of the world that your buddies in college that have been lifelong buddies.
Lifelong.
And that's the same way with my era basketball players, with Wayne's era. It's guys that no matter where you're at in life, you can always count on those guys. So kind of talk about your relationships with teammates and how it's grown throughout the years.
Yeah, so, the one thing about coming here, being from Canada, it was really the first time I'd ever been away from home and a long way from home. Like I couldn't go home for the weekend or anything like that. My teammates were so good to me, and their families were so good to me. So for Thanksgiving, I'd go to somebody's house for Thanksgiving because I couldn't go back home. Right. And they just helped me out so much. And so even to this day, we are lifelong friends. We have a yearly golf trip to Naples, Florida with guys like Danny Christie and John Heaney and Charlie Farha and Rob Peters and and Joe Pfister. I just love these guys and I rely on them so much and I trust them so much. I know that I can pick the phone up at any time and they're going to help me out.
How during the World Series run did they come to a lot of games?
None.
No,
they came to Texas. We played down in Arlington. We had a 2-game series in Texas and we lost both. So I banned them for the rest of the season. I said, you can't come back. But they'll be back next year. But, it was a great run.
Yeah, the superstitious baseball guy had to keep him away. And, you mentioned you played catcher, and that's one of the toughest, grittiest, hard-nosed positions in any sport. In a lot of ways, is the point guard on the baseball diamond. What were some characteristics and qualities that you took from being a catcher that now make you a great manager?
That's a great question, and I'll hold you there. I'm not going to call myself a great manager, but I think just the fact that you have to deal with people in different ways and figure out a way to motivate them. So as a catcher, I was always trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to get this guy to execute his pitches better? Do I have to kick him in the rear, or do I have to pat him on the rear? And I think just being able to see the game, like I can see everything as a catcher. I see all the players on the field. I think that helps you as a manager. It helps you as far as strategic ways, as far as cuts and relays and bunt defenses and things like that. So there's so many things that being a catcher has helped me out, personally anyway.
We've seen an evolution in sports. It's not the same as when we grew up. So as far as managing in 28 years with the Yankees and now on, how different is it now than it was in the 80s and 90s and 2000s as far as management of egos? We talk about Bill Self and Lance Leipold and Fitz. You have to almost be a psychologist to a degree to you always coach some guys different than others. I mean, how have you adapted over all those years, and how big of a difference is it over all those years?
It is a big difference, and I think in a lot of different ways the game is different. There's so much analytics in the game now that we try to take this room full of information and pour it into a thimble so the guys can understand and not get confused. And
where are you at on that spectrum of analytics and just managing with your gut?
I think I'm probably halfway.
Okay.
And because I think there is still, you have to have a feel in the game. There are situations that come up that no computer could ever tell you what to do. Right. You just have to go by experience and what you feel and what you see. use your senses. The athletes of today are so much better than they were years ago. The training methods are so much better. You know, we used to go to spring training, and that's where you got into shape. Now guys are ready to play games as soon as they walk on the field, just because they've trained so well. So, but as far as managing egos, I really haven't had a problem with anybody. I just treat people the way I want to be treated, right? I think I should be treated. And just show them respect, and in the long run, you gain their trust, and they'll give you the respect.
What do you look like next year? Obviously, defending the National League Pennant.
Yeah.
Everybody coming back. We talked earlier, your entire coaching staff is coming back, which helps with continuity.
Yeah.
You know, your guys know what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I think our front office, our team president is Dave Dombrowski, who's, I think, going to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame at some point. And our general manager, Sam Fold, and we've got a great front office, and they've done an unbelievable job with getting players, and we've signed Trey Turner to play shortstop for us, who's a huge addition, high on-base guy, you know, hopefully hits in front of Harper and Schwarber and those guys, and he's on base for a ton of home runs. And we added a starting pitcher, Taijuan Walker from the Mets, who I've loved for years. We've added some bullpen pieces. Gregory Soto we got in a trade. You know, it's just I think if we stay healthy and we do what we're supposed to do, we're gonna be right there. We're gonna be good.
I had this patient. His cancer treatment had him in the hospital for a while. One day, he was telling me about his grandson and how a big night was coming up for him. So we arranged to make it a big night for my patient too. I sometimes wonder if I'm doing all I can. Then I help make a moment like this possible, and I know I am.
The Dan Fitzgerald era of Kansas baseball is getting ready to start, and if you can remember back to those moments where you first were a manager of the team as coach is starting his era here, what would be some things that you would say to him to encourage him or to help the process along of transitioning Kansas baseball into what we know and hope it could be?
I think for me, the best information or suggestion that I ever got was just be yourself. Just be yourself. There's a reason why you're here. Be yourself. You know, make sure that those guys are preparing and competing every day, and create a culture where everybody has everybody's back. They're good teammates, good people, and they'll be fine.
Tomorrow you'll be at the game.
Yep.
When was the last time you were in Allen Fieldhouse?
Been a while now.
Been a while?
Yeah.
What are some of your memories of Allen Fieldhouse, the Danny Manning era?
The noise.
The noise.
Yeah, the crowd, the fans. The year that my last year here was Danny's first year, and that was, you know, they had Ronnie Kellogg and Greg Dreiling. They had a great team. And then I think they won it a few years later. Yeah. But, it was just the electricity in this building is really phenomenal. And we saw the same thing in Philadelphia during our playoff run this year. It was incredible. And I just love being in this building. Just you walk in the building and you know, you get juiced a little bit.
Do you still have a significant amount of pride when you follow Kansas baseball or Kansas basketball, Kansas football, and see some success generated from that? Even though you're miles away, focused in on what's happening in your own organization, what does it mean to you even still today to be a Jayhawk and to see them be successful?
I am so proud to be a Jayhawk. I really am. I mean, when the football team was 5-0, I think they were 5-0, and game day was here.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't wait to get up that morning and watch game day and see the campus and hopefully see some of my friends. I didn't, but that would have been nice.
How many times do you wear the Jayhawk in Philadelphia or wherever you go and someone just says Rock Chalk?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Isn't that cool?
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Well, you wear it proudly. We appreciate your time. Have fun tonight at this event. We got a sold-out event at the Jayhawk Club tonight with Coach Fitz and a lot of our baseball supporters and the team, and you're going to be great. We're so happy that you're back. Thanks for taking the time. Good luck defending the National League Pennant. And
yeah, we have that same type of pride for you when we see you
represent
well and
I appreciate
winning
that.
pennants and hopefully go a little bit further next year and bring home the crown.
I'll try and make Kansas proud.
All right, well, Rock Chalk, appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Coach. Yeah, thank you.